Ladies and gentlemen, it is now day 18 of the Kyrie Irving wants to be traded, and he probably won't because he's still under contract for 2 years, but potentially could sweepstakes. Now, this was tweeted out 18 days ago. ESPN sources on the Kyrie Irving front, Cavs were given 4 preferred landing spots: New York, Miami, San Antonio, Minnesota. We have done clips on a trade scenario to the Phoenix Suns, to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Who else did we do? The New York Knicks. And now I've received many comments in the comments section, and certainly get at us there, on the San Antonio Spurs. So here is what we have come up with at TYT Sports on how this could potentially happen. So firstly, a trade that does not work is Kyrie straight up for what you would need to get in return at the bare minimum, which is, in my opinion, the Marcus Aldridge for the money and Danny Green for the shooting and defense. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, you don't get a point guard back. They still have Derrick Rose, and they have a guy who I think is going to be a great shooter in the league in Kay Felder. Undersized, I'm aware, but I think we've learned from Isaiah Thomas that you could throw size out. We've learned from Earl Boykins you could throw size out. Kay Felder is going to be a legitimate shooter in this league. However, Kyrie for LA and Danny Green, it doesn't work because of the money. So now you're thinking, well, who can I throw in at the bare minimum in order for this to suffice? How about Kyrie Irving and Richard Jefferson for the Marcus Aldridge and Danny Green? Still doesn't work because it's not enough money for the deal. So the one deal that does work, again, if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, put on your GM hat. You're not David Griffin because he was fired for no reason. You're Kobe Altman. So you're thinking, okay, the bare minimum in order to give another $7-something million, you do Kyrie Irving and Channing Frye for the Marcus Aldridge and Danny Green. And if you're greedy, which I think you should be, if you're Cleveland and you want to be greedy, which I think you should be in this deal, you try to throw in a future round 1 pick. It could be next year, it could be the years after, doesn't matter. Get a round 1 in return. So at the bare minimum, that is what you can get. You're still looking all right. You're good defensively because Danny Green is a way better defender than Kyrie Irving, obviously completely flawed offensively when you try and compare the two. But nonetheless, you have another guard who can handle the ball a little bit, can shoot the three, can spot up, catch and shoot guy, and can play defense, which is what you need against the Golden State Warriors. Now here's where it got a little tricky. And this is a trade that I found via SB Nation that I absolutely love for all parties. This is the 1-3-teamer that I think would work as well. You would throw in the Utah Jazz. Now here's where it gets tricky. You throw in the Jazz, Cleveland would get Alec Burks, Sko Buffs, Danny Green, and Dejounte Murray. The Spurs would get Kyrie Irving, and Utah would get Tony Parker. Murray, a project. Alec Burks, a proven shooter, though he is coming off an injury. And you still get Danny Green, who is a shooter, but obviously flawed in comparison to, once again, Kyrie Irving. This is a tough trade mainly for Cleveland and for Utah to take on Tony Parker, because why would they get rid of Alec Burks? Again, been injured. But why would they get rid of Alec Burks, who has a sky-high potential, and take in Tony Parker? Well, they need a cornerstone, and I still do a cornerstone veteran, and I still do think that Tony Parker can help elevate the game of Dante Exum, if Exum, of course, does not pull a Gordon Hayward and walks. Now, while I'm thinking about this, it probably won't work for Cleveland because they probably are still thinking that they're not getting enough in return, and they might not see enough in Murray. And the Jazz are probably thinking we're getting rid of Alec Burks for Tony Parker. Why would we do that? Parker can really help a lot of those players, mainly Exum. So I don't think it's horrible for all parties, but the best trade that works is the initial one that I had, where you would send out Channing Frye and Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, for the Marcus Aldridge, who could lock down Draymond Green, Danny Green, who can try and lock down a guy like Klay Thompson. Then you move Iman Shumpert to Steph Curry, and a future round 1 pick. That is what we have come up with. Let us know your thoughts. Get at us in the comments section below. Follow me on Twitter at Rick Strom, and subscribe to TYT Sports.